have. And is it NaVi? Some of the Slayer, Magical Crystallize. Who's Elias? And,
and
Yapasha.
we didn't even discuss the drafting change is so odd
It's
to
4 bans right now, right?
I'm not really a fan, personally. I think that if they had just added an extra one to the first phase, that I would understand.
Without removing the second phase?
Yeah, it just feels odd. I think the 2 bans is really what added a lot of complexion to the drafting phase.
We discussed it in the first kind of segment, or the first series. It was they've adapted the way that you now need to use your bans as more like generic open bans, and you have to have an idea of what your draft is going to be at the start of your draft, because you don't have that double ban to cover yourself on these picks.
Yeah. This is very generic. Probably you were very right about that.
So we saw in the
and out of those generic bans, we kind of have seen 8. The actual ones, right?
Well, it's like, so for example, NaVi, I believe against NaVi banned like the TA. That's quite an instrumental hero in NaVi's kind of toolkit. So now, because you have 4 bans at the start, you have to ban it out. You have to potentially respect it if you don't know how you're going to deal with it later on, because you know they're likely to pick it up. So it opens up a lot more of those cheese heroes. I feel like you have the potential of Meepo, Brood, Lycan. These heroes can fall through quite quickly, because it's hard to ban them out early on, because normally you get to the later portion of your draft and you go, all right, now we need to ban it, now we need to deal with it. And you don't think of that in your first 4. So I think it's going to take time, and we are going to see throughout these games a couple of these more niche picks come through that as we get more
react
exactly, and as we get more comfortable with this new 4-1-1 style, I think teams might be seeing a lot more of these cheesier bans in this kind of first block 4.
Yeah, I've always viewed the opening bans as you want to get rid of heroes that the enemy team that you don't want in the game.
Yep.
Whether they're on your team or the enemy, right? So I think that you're right on that front. But again, my issue is simply that I always felt like the second banning phase is really where captains sort of had a chance to shine and exploit weaknesses in their enemy. Like
first pick, right?
that ban into pick that second selection was able to utilize. Now it's just kind of more of a
open Dota buff, sort by ban for heroes, right?
In a way, most teams are going to select heroes in the top 5 or top 10 of the enemy's win rate or play rate.
But you can see Ricky is not there because it's been picked by Bait.
Wait, who? What did they pick? I can't see him.
Ricky, Mars, Ricky and Ancient Apparition for Bait. Is it because of the? Yeah, whatever.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
That's a really.
Woo! This is how we're going to go. I see. Okay.
Indeed.
That was beautiful, right? But do you not think, though, with the change...
Hopefully it's not about the disease, or his eyesight, right? It's because of the invisibility of
right?
Okay.
Ricky's just an invis hero. Do not fear. So moving on. The idea that if you're first pick, you might want to try and open up with like a casual support, and then if you're second pick, you want to have that flex hero. We saw in the first game, the Mars pick is like NaVi, they can put it off lane, you maybe put it mid, and it means that when you move into that second phase, you get to then open up with another support, and you're not really kind of putting yourself in too much of a corner. So less of that first pick style that you mentioned about pick 10 and then double ban to cover it. It's now just, let's keep it quite open. We're not showing, we'll probably see a lot more supports and flex picks in the opening kind of stage, rather than these boss cores, like these PL picks, these TA picks. You know, this is how like Liquid done well at TI, right? This instant 10 pick, we are hero. We're probably not going to see that anymore due to the change of the bans.
Yeah. Maybe not.
Early days. Speculation. It makes or breaks people.
There's also a lot of heroes that were altered. The neutral items, the tier 1s getting both a drop rate increase and pretty much just buffs around the board on all the neutral items, which I think will also further serve to influence the meta, because these heroes that sort of that are XP activated, not gold activated, suddenly get this huge buff around their timings, because they'll hit that level 12. Like I saw in the previous, the first game of the opening series, this Death Prophet, it's like 14, 15 minutes into the game, she's level 13, right? And you can just suddenly, you're going high ground at 20 minutes. You have Yules, you have Ags, you have this free item. Like I've seen so many Essence Rings now, especially that's not affected by a hero like AA. Like I look at a hero like AA in a game and I think, well, I hope the enemy doesn't get an Essence Ring, because it just kind of removes kill threat. And it's just kind of nuts that this item is just purely RNG. Still not sure how I feel about these items, but c'est la vie.
We haven't actually discussed this the entire day. It's the active runes, 4 minutes. The fact that you can't, like, sometimes mid matchups that are already pretty favored to certain heroes would also then be kind of even harder because they get that early DD or regen. And now you've got a 4 minute window to play even, maybe outplay your opponent. and then hopefully it's easier to then get your support to rotate. 'Cause at 4 minutes, you might have set up your lane at that point.
See, I actually think it's the opposite. I think you'll see less activity around the mid lane because now there's no objective that brings heroes to collapse them around
probably.
There's no incentive to go middle. Both supports, in theory, you could camp couriers. I think that's something we'll see maybe a bit more of. But theoretically, mid has always been the easiest matchup to trade, especially with Mango spam. If you have a DP against a Shadow Fiend, unless there's an egregious misplay, you're just going to trade farm. And then the 4-minute rune is going to be key. But we'll often, I think, see less of the bottle rush for obvious reasons and more just raw stat gain and then time the bottle into the 4-minute mark. I would really like to see, again, I understand that the change was to influence the mid matchup and not make it 50-50 RNG. Oh, I got the DD, so I win the lane. But I would have liked to see that addressed in a different way to sort of find equality between rune spots so that, say, one provides like 2 bottle charges. The Heroes of Newerth option was you have a power rune on one end and you have a bounty rune on the other.
We had that for a short amount of time, right? So
just so that there is incentives to control runes. It feels weird that we're removing those, but then we have stuff like outposts. So I just don't really know which direction
and technically
we're taking the game.
The old school, the neutral item drops as well. The fact that if you have the essence ring, yada yada, it's like it's a weird idea, but I think it's healthier, and it just means that 4-minute mark, you're going to have that potentially that nice rotation going into the rune, that catapult push at 5 maybe. If you spoke up Pugna, that's I think a much better hero nowadays. So that maybe that 5-minute mark could be quite a big indicator. So as much as you move away from the matchup, you might move more towards just good map movements based off of these slight changes.
And it's a bit of nerf to the bottle, I believe. I mean, rushing bottle.
They made it
second
cheaper,
minute
to
rune.
be fair.
A little bit, yeah, but still, you kind of want to have a little bit more stats before the minute 4 mark, and then the 4, 5, 6. I mean, the bounties and 2 runes. If they appear on the same side, it kind of gives you a very big incentive to move to one of the lanes and for the meter to stay there, wait for the bounty rune to defesh the bottle if he has it, and so on. It kind of provides more action at minute 5 and less action at minute 3 to right around that.
And that's where I feel like heroes like Shadow Fiend, as we just saw picked up, are going to be more effective because they're so strong at their power spikes. Same with heroes like Death Prophet, Leshrac, Lone Druid. You know, at your each level you gain, level 5, level 7, like it's huge power spikes. The catapult spawns 5 minutes. If you can then look to play around mid, you're going to be able to potentially kill the structure, which, as we know, I think you have like an 85% win rate in Pro Dota if you kill the enemy mid tower before they take down yours. It's a huge disparity, and I'd love to see NaVi look to play around their SF. Centaur picked up by Bait. They're just trying to get onto the squishy backline. Both of these NaVi supports are incredibly susceptible to just a Riki Centaur bomb, and they have 2 incredibly high damage supports, but they're also quite squishy. So I'd love to see NaVi just find some sort of reach combined with lockdown to get onto these backliners, remove AA's ability to play Pro Dota, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, the last bans are, I believe, taking some time to choose.
Bait have an ultimate last pick as well. I'm probably expecting obviously the Riki to be carry. There's no way it can go mid. Have you seen Riki mids anytime?
Riki mid?
It's a pub thing, I believe. I don't know if it's actually transitioned into the big pro scene yet, but it's quite obnoxious. Obviously not in this game against a Shadow Fiend, but opening up the question for you.
What, do I like first Riki?
Yeah. Have you seen Riki too?
Yeah, I have seen it a bunch. Wait, you mean mid?
Yeah.
I mean, I have. I don't know if I buy it or not.
No, I'm not into it either. I'm just,
Is he in your experience-dependent hero list? He probably is, right? He wants to have his item dependent.
I would say
not that much as his half, obviously.
I would say no, just because the structure damage isn't there, and you're kill dependent with no innate wave clear. The reason I love heroes such as Leshrac, Shadow Fiend, etc., is that there's a very
narrow window of them not having anything to do, right?
They always have options.
Yeah. They always have something to do.
That's what makes Dota, when you play it at the highest level, you always want to have something you can do that's efficient. And a hero like Shadow Fiend, if you're being pressured, well, go make a stack, go farm, maybe even look to rotate. But you're never really suffering. Whereas a hero like Riki,
you want skills.
And if you can't get them, you just feel bad.
Because you cannot push tower. If they just retreat, you have nothing to do in the lane when you came ganking, for example.
But that also applies to like the team fight as well. When you look at this lineup from NaVi, they have the Shadow Fiend. If he goes for level 15 talent, he unlocks the ability to hit towers. His other heroes as well can hit the towers. You look at Bait. Right now, they don't actually have any tower damage. Maybe Sentinel.
No, I kind of imagined myself way bigger than Shadow Fiend, way smaller than Shadow Fiend. But look at this, I'm very big. Hey,
there you go. you're one with Shadow Fiend. You are now Shadow Fiend. There you go. But I think some building damage right now for bait is kind of what they need to align themselves with.
That's one way of having it.
This is
a desperate move, isn't it?
It's just, to me, this is what the flaw with Bait's drafting style really is. If you look at this lineup, there is absolutely zero objective pressure. The whole strategy revolves around, we're going to kill you.
I'd have even like maybe a Pugna, you know? I don't know if Pugna was banned, but just Pugna against Shadow Fiend, if you get the level 1 ward, it has... Wait, okay, calm down, think. Whoa. Okay, guys, breathe. All right, so...
Are you feeling okay?
I'm great.
Pugna into Shadow?
I'm going to move out a little bit.
No, wait, okay. So listen. So you get level 1 ward, right?
Okay.
It does base damage for every spell. For every spell cast, it does base damage plus the mana from the spell.
Okay.
So if you just have a casual ward, if he wants to raise out the creep wave, he can't triple raise you because he's going to take a lot of damage from the ward. And then after that, you then bridge into normal spells.
You never have kill potential.
But you have the building. I'm talking about don't talk about the lane, Carl. I'm talking about the game. You know, how do you hit the towers?
Well, we'll find out. NaVi's pick.
Yeah, then they got Naga. Oh, God.
This, to me, is the difference between a squad that has put in a lot of time together versus one that's newer. Because if you look at the NaVi lineup, you think, okay, well, if they can... First off, their team fight's incredible, especially around choke points and objectives such as Roche or towers. And Bait, you might get more kills. You might run away with the game, but like you're always susceptible to one bad fight.
Is a very important word in that.
Yeah, you have to win 10 team fights as Bait to win this game. Whereas NaVi, like they hit one good combo and
they
suddenly
take lane.
So well.
Yeah. This is very fast. Though I believe we should have enough community support to watching this game, hopefully participate in the donation, which is available at WePlay.tv, right, in the donation section. And I believe we're moving towards our 150K goal right now, and this is one of the potentially winning teams, hopefully, in the EU versus CIS competition that we will have if we hit the 150K US dollar goal, which I'm very much rooting for and definitely participating. So, but actually, who is? It's a best of 3, right? So hopefully we will have at least 2-1. But I personally kind of wish a lot of kills to Bait because otherwise they have no other chance. And this should be a very interesting game if they have it.
I would say it's 1-0 NaVi, and we can just roll it into game 2. But I look forward to being proved wrong if they can on the side of Bait. But realistically, they're going to need to play significantly better if they want to win this game. And I don't think that they're a significantly better team.
It's so hard. Like if Ricky gets that point, the early defusal, goes into Battle Fury to deal with the Naga early on, gets the ball rolling. If he doesn't get that kind of forward momentum, they don't really have any other hero that wants to go in. Centaur, reinitiate, all squishy int heroes behind on the supporting cast, Lina as well. I think this Naga is way too easy for him to
This is
reset.
what we will be watching for at least, I believe, at least 30 to 60 minutes in a row. Thankfully and interestingly casted by our great cast that we have here. And we're going to you guys.
Thanks, lads. Well, you'd think if anyone would have been tired of being wrong by now, it'd be Kyle. But he said he would like to be proven wrong here by the side of Bait. But what do you think, Liz? What are we looking at here? NaVi versus Bait is definitely a classic storyline, right? Dendi involved up against NaVi. But who got the better side of this draft in your eyes?
I mean, everyone wants to see Dendi doing well. That's the story of that player. Everyone likes him as a person, as a player. Like in the recent times, he didn't really find a lot of success. And honestly, I talk a lot with these players that are in the tier 2, tier 3 situation, and they share some information when it comes to scrimming with Bait, but most of them say the same thing. They still haven't really found their identity as a team. They're still finding themselves. They're still testing out strategies. We'll see if this works for them. Map1 was definitely difficult for them. I don't think they won a single game there. And this draft, they do have a Ricky. Ricky is something that most teams are fighting for at the moment. We'll see if they can make it work.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit of spice. Ricky hero that we've seen over the years, right? We've cast enough games in the past where we saw, especially CIS teams, trying to experiment with the idea of Ricky in the core role. And it usually, time and time again, will fall flat on his face. Definitely feels like this iteration of the hero has the most potential to actually kick off and become a serious contender for that POS 1 role.
One thing always when you're playing with Ricky is, do you have heroes that can set up your smoke screen? And do you have heroes that are against you that have high armor and are they illusion based? Because he struggles versus these PLs, Terrorblades, Nagas. And one of those heroes is actually in this game. That's the Naga on the side of NaVi.
That's true. And when you look at the other heroes around the Naga, usually this Naga just wants to absorb space, farm up a lot. You do have heroes that get active and push early, right? The Mars, Shadow Fiend, a hero that just unlocks push potential early via his talents. Around 15, you can actually just start balling through towers.
Obviously, SF in this kind of a game will have that playmaking, space-creating objective, right? He's the one that's going to have to make enough space for Crystallize to come online. And if that happens, Bait is going to be in a lot of problems. They need to push the tempo, they need to start with this Lina, with Dandy, off the lanes, to go on the side lanes and make things happen.
And they should be able to. The heroes are all about aggression. Right now, the aggression's been piled on top of King R, and he doesn't have an easy way to get out. Crystallize does move faster. They'll force the salve, and they will cancel it, and that'll be good enough for them, and Naga can't afford to miss creeps.
I love the new headdress as well. It's just it's so cost effective in the laning stage as well. I think you should always buy it on your position 5 or 4. It's very good.
Yeah, Bassier also another item early on. If you have spamming heroes, it feels really good because it's a little bit cheaper. It can be a bit more affordable, especially for 5s potentially.
Yeah, you don't even, if you're position 4, you buy that headdress and some tangos, and that's pretty much it. You come to the lane, you're already valuable to your offlaner. We'll see here how much PO will be able to do on this Riki. I think the hero is very strong in the laning stage if you pair him with a good support. Ancient Apparition is alright. He's not your Lich, but they do have kill potential.
Speaking of the Lich, not feeling too good about his pick now as he gets caught out and first blood gets drawn by BA.
Yeah, Ilias, I don't know if we should call him the newcomer for NaVi any longer. He still is, I believe, one of the youngest players in the CIS scene, right, especially on NaVi. And it's so interesting that a position 5 is your youngest and most unexperienced player.
Exactly, right? That's usually, I mean, some people joke like, oh, it's where the former cores go to later on in their career, you know, when they're getting a little bit too old. But it's that wisdom, right? That's usually what you get from the 5, is they're usually handling your drafting, they're usually the ones making the early calls on what to do.
It's mostly about the calls, right? That's what you want your position 5 to be doing, because you have the most time to look across the map, to find those pressure points that need pressuring, and summon your position 4 to go there, at least in the first 10 minutes. We'll see if Elias will be able to take the reins on this NaVi squad in the future tournaments.
He's just trying to reverse the story, right? He's going to start a 5, in a few years we'll see him in the 1 role, and then the 2.
Yeah.
And then he'll become talent. It's just complete reverse.
No, he should have started with the talent.
I was about to say, that's the one we're missing.
Crystallize?
Yeah, no, nice. Yeah, looks like the Frost Armor will protect, able to move away just in time.
Naga already has 9 armor, then you give her the Frost Shield from the Lich. She's so difficult to take down. This lane, though, does carry a punch. You're playing into a Centaur and Dark Willow. If you step just a little bit out of your range, you can be taken down.
Definitely feels like armor has become the name of the game again, right? Especially with the changes around BKB and Nullify. Now BKB feels even more powerful, so when you're talking late game, these agi heroes will definitely be more formidable in the fight than the previous patch.
That's one of the things that I believe Riki, it was a nerf for Riki, because overall the hero is very strong and has been picked up quite often in the recent patch, but when you think about heroes such as Terrorblade and Naga coming back into the play, Riki does not usually fare too well in those matchups.
No, sorry. Well, there's Naga not faring well in this battle here. I'll get a low. But the Frost Shield, it's not going to persist long enough. The final tap will come out and they get the nice big kill on the Naga. And when you look at the CS right now, you said these guys, last time they were involved in a WePlay tournament, it looked rough. But this time around, these lanes are off to a gorgeous start for the side of BA.
The laning stage definitely is going really well for them. And it's an important thing that it is. When you're playing versus a Naga, you need to be ahead early on so that you can take map control and pressure her in her own jungle. Perhaps force her to farm somewhere out of her comfort zone. That's the only way that you can take her down.
Especially when you look at the comparison mid, right? Like Dendi, I mean, you know, some people like washed up. No, the only thing washed here is hands. As Magical is having a hard time in this lane. 32-11 to the 24-1. And it's a hero that can get, like, it's not like this comparison where it's like, yeah, what's this hero going to do? It's just going to farm more. Lina is the type of hero that can very easily gank to the outer lanes. We've seen Chinese teams use that pretty well over the last few months.
It comes back to the runes, right? To the 4th minute runes and rotations around that. I'm surprised there were absolutely no rotations coming to that mid lane. Right now, both teams just satisfied with controlling the lanes and getting the farms on their offlaners and carries. We'll see if
Speaking of runes.
Then he gets that Invis rune.
the cheeky sneaky. Let's see if he can actually use it, because Magical is probably going to be predictable and moving towards the jungle, you'd think. But he doesn't want to risk it. He doesn't have the knowledge of what type of rune it is, and Lina is not showing.
Yeah, you can see also the Observer Wards. They didn't plant anything for Magical, and because of that, he will be caught off guard.
Can't get him quite low enough. Laguna, I think if he led with the Laguna, he might have had enough clicks, right? With the extra Fiery Souls, but it would have been close.
And that's pretty much Dandy's game. His pressure game, at least on this mid lane, is done. From this point onwards, Magical can farm the side camp and also farm the lane because there's no Laguna Blade for a minute, and he understands that.
Meanwhile, Pio, the one you're worried about, would he get off to a good start? This is actually looking more impressive than I would have expected out of Ricky in the first few minutes.
Ricky catches people off guard. He is much stronger in the laning stage than you expect. He has a lot of base HP, much more than he used to. He hits you just as hard, and he has 3 mobility spells when you just think that his second spell has charges, right? So Blink Strike has charges. Because of that, has multiple ways to get in and out of a fight, out of a skirmish.
It's always that harassment factor, right? Like, you can commit, and if it goes wrong, now you have the means to escape immediately. It's not like a PA, for example, that if you go in, well, they better run away. If they turn around, you're in trouble.
Yeah, you can get out easily, or you can continue pursuing even easier to get a couple of extra right clicks off on your target.
And it's a classic Naga scenario. Off to the jungle, leaving Centaur to free farm. The only issue I see here is you've got this SF that really needs to absorb that jungle area as well.
If you remember, when Centaur came back, when Centaur was picked a lot...
First arena.
Yep. When Centaur was picked a lot, Mars came into Dota, and he quickly became one of pretty much main counters to the Centaur because of the arena. He pops the Stampede, you pop the arena, and he just runs into a wall. All of his teammates can just continuously run into a wall, they can't escape. And because of that, I like this Mars pick. However, Centaur in his own rights is really strong here too. Depending on the way he itemizes, he can prove to be a fearsome foe versus the Naga. If you go for that Crimson Guard, you can pressure the towers as well.
Speaking of Naga, this is a gorgeous kill if you can get it. Nice dodge on the Laguna though, and he'll try and move away, but it's a greedy Naga. You don't take Song at 6, and as a result, you get to spend 30 seconds on that sideline.
But you feel good for that dodge. For that dodge, you feel good. You also know that you hurt Dandy's soul a little bit, you know?
He's like, yeah, you still haven't killed anyone with Laguna yet, Dandy.
But overall, they got what they came for, and that's all that matters. Centaur continues to push in the top lane. Probably will take down that tier 1 very easily, without a lot of commitment too. And now you will see them rotate away from that top tier 1 into the jungle of Navi's side.
It's the shove factor as well, right? Like, Beta have 2 lanes that can be shoved in easily, the Lina and the Centaur. Centaur can take the towers early, and LeBron can give more kills over to NaVi. But Will Elias has to finish it himself. Frost Arm slowing down, be good enough. Pio has arrived. He barely feels the hits of Pasha, but there's no sort of turnaround play. He's like, I just want this outpost. I just want my XP, dude. And more importantly, he wants to try and deny NaVi theirs, as they don't have any outposts.
This Ricky is really scary. I was wondering if they will keep Pio or they will get someone else after the Mad Moon event. His showing wasn't really brilliant in that tournament, but definitely he did show that he has a lot of potential. And so far in this game, he's 4K net worth. This is an amazing Ricky start. We'll see if he'll be able to convert that into a powerful mid-game display.
It's decent against the hero as well, right? Like, you can just stop all these type of escapes, right? Requiem can't be used defensively, the Song as well, and Slayer, he needs someone to defend him, as he's going to be ran down casually. Shadow Realm able to follow hit, but nice heal up, he'll be fine.
Slayer was also, Sioma the Slayer, he was also confirmed as a permanent player for NaVi.
Slayer, definitely a guy who I feel like he's been on almost every team by now. He's been around so long.
And he's one of those players that I remember from my scrims long time ago, like 5 years ago. The only difference is he could actually play the game and he got into a good team.
I thought you meant back then he could play the game. I was like, Jesus, let's calm down here. No, yeah, he's definitely been around. He brings a lot of experience and still playing in that 4 role. Usually proven dominant.
Back then I was flaming him. You're not gonna make it. Look at you. You know, he makes one mistake, you just flame him forever. No.
You just have to have like a friendly rivalry. Just let him know that you got someone where you didn't. And Pio, the only place he's getting is back to base quickly as he's dead for 30 seconds. Nice rotation.
Yeah, this is a little bit concerning, because now, effectively what they did, not only did they lose their carry, but they forced their offlaner, the strongest hero on the map, to play around this tier 1. yes, you will be saving this tier 1, but you won't be taking any objectives. However, if they rotate the Lina in as well, maybe they can do something.
Well, right now, it's just Gustic versus the world. Ice Blast's going to come in. Arena's been committed. It will cause travesty and deforestation. And PO is arriving. It's a retreat. Passion needs to get out quickly. Dendy's slowed down by Slayer on the side. He's going to give his life for the cause. The problem is they've already lost the Lich. They'll lose the Rubik as well. And PO not able to get close enough to hunt down Pasha.
So, even though this might look really bad for Navi, they lost 2 supports. It truly isn't, because you forced... Exactly, you forced everyone to play around this bottom tier 1, the Radiant tier 1. Instantly crystallize on his Naga, TP stop, and he has all the space in the world to do whatever he wants to. If you look at SF as well, he's not ready to fight. So strategically, you're setting the pace of the game, even though you're not ahead.
We've all experienced it, right? In our pub games, when there's a Naga pick, we're like, oh, we're going to die. We're going to die for a while, but she will carry us later. But it's fair to say that both teams are doing what they need to, right? They're creating space for the Naga, but on the other side, Bait, understanding what it is to be up against this Naga, understanding the way their heroes work, they have to go fast and take towers early.
Exactly. At least they're doing that really well. You can see they took down the tier 1 on the top lane really fast. Now they're converting that defense on the bottom lane into a tier 1 push over there. So they are taking objectives, and they have to keep that up, because if you look at the network charts, SF is not that far behind. Even though he's 6th on the network charts, they're all kind of clumped up close.
Considering the rough start, yes, he's recovering. And Slayer, he will not be so lucky to get out. Problem is, they haven't got anyone in the mid lane to now try and exploit this and push in.
Pio is doing so well. Even after that, he's still on 5.2k net worth, moving towards that defusal, and then the game becomes more and more difficult for Navi. He will be able to hunt down that Naga with the defusal, with the smokescreen. Remember, smokescreen right now isn't nearly as strong as it used to be, because it doesn't slow you. But with that defusal, you certainly have kill potential.
You fix the problems, like anyone found individually. Like, it's usually Naga is the one where when you got like Diffu and Manta, you can kill anyone on your own, right? Well, Ricky minus the Manta, he's going to be in that situation too. And it looks like Gustic, is he going towards the Blink this game? I don't know if you really need it that badly, because you're just playing clumped and just trying to pressure towers, right? If you get kills, if not, you force Navi to defend, you can still take them head on. So more likely just tank up further, enable your Ricky and keep him alive. I think that's Centaur's core role in this game.
Yeah, pretty much tank up as much as possible, be the beefy frontliner, and also itemize well against the Lich, against the Naga, against all this physical and magical damage. One of the items that's really great, obviously, is a pipe. Later on, perhaps we might see a Crimson, even though it's not really that popular.
And he's making sure he's not at risk himself. He's holding the combo, right? So that you can double pipe, essentially.
Man,
well, for yourself.
When did you learn all this Dota? I used to give you these little points, these little intricacies. It's been too long that we play. Yeah,
I've gained 50 MMR.
Wow, that changes everything. Yeah, so usually, basically what he's doing, he's keeping the hood locked. He's gonna pop the hood, then unlock it, pop the pipe as well.
And he will wait, even if his teammates are dying. He's like, no.
No, I need to do the combo properly to look good, yeah.
Dendy, he's going to do his combo properly. But there's the arena going down. They're looking at Dendy. They don't have the damage, though. Pasha, he needs to run. But there is no way you can run, no way you can hide. Reinforcements coming. The Chain Frost bouncing around unfavorably for the side of Bait. But there's the Terrorizer scale on the way. It gives space. Dendy, even though he's netted up, there's no one to pursue. They scare away the Naga because he's hit up by the Curse Crown. And Magical needs to try and just beeline to the tree line and stay safe. But Ghostic, he sees an opportunity. He's like, you cocky son of a gun. The Storm actually unintentionally connected on the Crystallize. Now he wants to go for the double, like, little stun combo
phrases, yeah, but he doesn't manage to do so.
Well, look at the Centaur. It's like, it was baffling to see how little the pipe with the hood also done to save him health there.
At least he had his Dark Willow there to help him out, but overall, one of the reasons why that fight could have been terrible for Navi is the fact that they have no song. You can see that Crystallize still didn't skill it up, so...
He's farming.
Yeah, they'll have to wait for their teammates to actually be able to utilize some of their spells.
Every time I see that, you see it with Naga and Terrablazer all the time, it just always reminds me of Sing Sing with Moonlight Shadow not being leveled when he's like level 15. He's like, sorry, on cooldown.
I mean, that's efficiency right there.
Back when you used to be able to get the stat points instead.
It's always sad to skill it up, though. I completely feel him. You don't want to skill it, you know. And then you get level 10, and you're like, do I get the talent, or do I skill my ulti?
Speaking of ultis, he's getting the kills now. Poor Slayer. This is the death zone, and he has to enter every time because someone's got to just absorb that XP.
Yeah, this Naga might not have even the luxury of using her ulti. As Pyro does have that defusal, they know where she is.
On the other side, though, LeBron. A little kill for NaVi, but they'll take what they can get right now, and it looks like Crystallize will be able to sliver away to the safety of the tier 2.
I'm interested though, they saw the Naga with the illusion moving next to them, and even though it was a cute play from Crystallize, you should realize that one of those two is real, as they're moving back. In what world are you sending the illusions back to your base, right? So you should kind of figure out and jump that, but maybe it's the nighttime. Maybe they didn't really catch the glimpse of both of them.
Like maybe he's learned his lesson, he's leveled his song, he should have by now. They don't want to take a chance, but the arena comes in, they ambush them, the Terrorize being held. King R's waiting to see if there's any threat to them, and Magical gets scared away. The separation of the fight means that Bait are absolutely fine here, but Pasha is running out of mana. The root is going to connect. Ice Blast is coming across now, will only connect onto Ilias though.
One of the best combos with this Mars. Oh, let's see. Stampede.
Well, anything you want now that Mars doesn't have his combo. The Stampede comes in, Magical's controlled up. They're going to protect for the time being. Pio is locked in on the side. He will dodge out the Requiem and kill off Ilias though. Magical now needs to run for the high hills, but Pio's going to keep on chasing. The Shadow Realm not enough. The stab in Pio. He won't even give his life for this. The movement in Slayer is greedy. He wanted it with a blink strike, but it wasn't good enough. There will be a cleanup coming up from Mars, but now Pasha will give his life just for that measly kill on a Riki. Yeah. 4 for the price of 1.
Remember, Naga.
Farming.
That's what matters.
Farming.
That's the play. You have Naga on the other side of the map still farming. That's something at least, but if everyone else is dying around you, that's not really
It's
really
not an Alchemist, right?
Yeah.
If it was an Alchemist, you'd be like, Alchemist, farming, we're good still. But not in this case, especially when you've got a tier 2 tower as well.
So yeah, how that team fight even... it could have went much worse for NaVi, by the way, but they managed to lock down the Riki, to keep him stunned for a really long time, and then when he was down low, 30%, he managed to turn on the Lich, turn on the SF. Rubik steals that Blink Strike, but blinks into the smoke, and because of that, he misses that hit. He almost survived even on Riki. That could have been really good.
Because there was a little bit of separation, right? Like the jump from the Centaur onto the SF to keep him out of the fight long enough. It was the differing factor. And Crystallize still on point with these dodges.
Yeah.
Sings his song, turns SingStar off, he's back to farming Dota.
You have to, if you're NaVi, you just have to utilize your combos well. You have your Mars ulti, the arena, and you have Lich ulti. I think those two are your biggest things. Requiem is really good as heroes start running into the walls, hitting themselves, and they take damage, right? So you have these 3 heroes that should play together. So far, all the arenas weren't really utilized that well.
No, it was more like he was trying to show off his pre-spell. And he really wants to go in Dendi. The problem is you don't know what is behind him right now. They are a little bit naked on vision in that area, but they're going to go anyway. As Dendi is separated enough from his team, they might be able to get him in time. The Stampede to try and get him out. The lift lasts long enough that Dendi is going to go down. The Rec Room to scare away the reinforcements, though. They might at least lose Pasha as Pierre arrives as well.
They might lose more.
They might. They're in a stacked area, but Ghost Stick, he hasn't got the stomp for 7 seconds, so it looks like that's all it's going to cost him.
All right, they get Dendi, they get the Lina, but they do lose the arena. They lose pretty much all their ultis, and they lose Pasha's Mars. So Bait did get something out of that overall. One thing that does worry me is the amount of time that it took for them to take down that Lina. If Terrorize was a few seconds earlier there, if Dark Willow was in a better position, that could have went really badly for NaVi.
Yeah, glass cannon's meant to be squishy. Apparently they found a new material that looks like glass, but is in fact like platinum or...
Look, Dendi is a great Lina player. He always was. It's one of his heroes, right? But the hero is squishy. It's just the way it is. It's a glass cannon, and you might win the lane, you might get a couple of pickoffs. Oh,
tickled him with the tip. King R is not getting out.
That spear was great.
You know, it's always good when you have just the right amount of length to hit the spot.
Yeah. I don't know anything about that. I usually miss it.
Do you not play Mars?
I play, but I usually miss it every time.
We'll say you're baiting them, right? You're like, you want them to think you're bad at spears for later. With the big
I don't know how I'm gaining anything by baiting them, think I'm bad, but alright.
You ever seen one of those games where it's like, oh, they haven't hit a spell, and then they just run at you, and you're like, alright.
So I'm waiting for the right time.
There you go, yeah. Like the Enigma that purposely misses the black hole. The zoning black holes until they all group.
All of my black holes are zoning.
Yep, I know that feeling. I do the same with all my arrows. sorry, scouting. They're scouting in that situation. And they've scouted out a big boy that needs to be taken down. A second life on Pio will ensure that they could easily push up into base. Especially with DD, this won't take long. And NaVi are nowhere nearby to try and contest this, and your Naga is not ready to fight 5 people.
Yeah, you're really not ready. You're not around. With the song, you could go in, you could contest, maybe even steal Roshan, but you're not ready. You just don't have the items. You can see that Naga is high on the network charts, second behind Dandy, but it's not the Naga that's ready to fight yet. You still need more. You want to be ahead if you're playing Naga Siren.
Yeah. You sacrifice your teammates for that very reason, right? It's like, I'm throwing you on the bus because I'll have a 4K net with these. Same with things like anti-mage. Now the Stampede coming in, Ilias, gonna be left behind. Just tanking the gank.
Exactly. He was carrying the wards. He obviously wanted to get one of those deep ward spots, right? But also what he was doing is he was protecting Crystallize, who was really nearby. And if he eats that gank, Crystallize can just run away.
Exactly. Now LeBron's doing the same.
Yeah.
However, in the bot lane, bigger targets have been found. Pio is trying to verse the world right now, and the world is hurting a lot. They can get close enough, though. He can get away. And now, you need to be careful. The Terrorize being charged up. But Crystallize is going to commit here. Has to song and run away. They need to be careful. TP right there. He doesn't want to risk the Terrorize. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, LeBron trying to bravely defend that tier 1 tower. Will go down. That Ice Blast is simply for farming a neutral camp.
Damn, magical.
He has magical damage. The arena's going to go down. That's a please don't hurt me, leave me alone, stay here arena. We need a shorter title for it.
Yeah, that arena was actually alright. It prevented them from following up on the SF. SF gets away. LeBron actually managed to live much longer than I expected him to, but that's 9k MMR right there in EU. Even with an ancient apparition.
I like how you highlight it. In EU.
In EU.
The most
master race.
competitive region in the world. SEA wants to talk to you.
SEA is pretty sick as well. Those pubs look great.
Well, we saw a little bit of SEA earlier today, but this is the CIS bloodbath. This is what we live for. We breathe for. You pub for this.
Now, this isn't really a bloodbath.
No, this is a Naga game.
I think CIS moved away from the bloodbath zone long
They pick
time
Nagas
ago.
now.
Yeah,
It's
like,
very sad.
It's been a year or so. I think SCA and China are taking that spot right now.
Definitely. So every time you see a Naga, you kind of take a sigh. It reminds me of the old TI, the one where everyone would boo any Naga picks. Ghost Stick. Just zoning them. And Pasha, this was his fight to take. He quickly realized he didn't want it anymore, but when you commit, you commit.
They're just playing these team fights much better, and one of the reasons why it's easier for them to take these team fights is because they have all the items that they already need. Pio with that diffusal can fight, and that's why he joins every single fight. He uses that smoke screen to prevent Pasha from doing anything. Dark Willow isn't really a hero that you can just burst down. If she goes into the Dark Realm, you have to wait for it, right? You can't dispel it anyway. They tried to wait around, Ricky smoke screened, and yeah, they just died.
And no one really on Navi other than the Naga feels tanky in any way. You know, I feel like right now, if Bait wanted, they could just record you saying just hit them lol, and they could just have a mixtape that they play in these moments. Because it is that cut and dry, right? You just ignore the Naga, because she's still not that problematic. The split push is a little bit annoying, but you have so much control everywhere else.
Right now, they're doing it right. You could see in the last tournament as well, a lot of teams have utilized the same strategy against Alliance. They would ignore the Medusa or the Naga, and then they would just go for the others, right? Hit them, create these 4 other heroes as miserable as possible, so that later on, we only have to deal with the Naga, really. And you can do that.
Uh-oh. Oh, Jaws theme tune, please, because Dendi, like a shark to fish. He sees Slayer, he will slay Slayer. There will be no escape for him, but he at least covers the escape of his ally.
They're really just doing that. You can see them trying to catch these side laners, these split pushers. There's a bigger strategy involved in why they're doing what they're doing. They aren't just hunting the Naga. They aren't just mindlessly smoking up and trying to seek for her.
No, they are just basically trying to stem any split push potential, trying to just force Na'Vi to not actually be able to play around the map. Because they realize, yeah, this Naga is going to farm, it's a hard kill. Can you just try and find a big kill like the Mars or the SF instead, which can then enable you to go up onto the high ground and just punish this before Naga can be online? which is still looking problematic. I mean, she has got a big lead over Ricky now.
Asha?
Oh, speaking of Ricky, he's like, oh,
He blinked.
my counter.
Did you see that? You might have blinked, but he blinked in a spot, in the same spot. He flickered, pretty much. He flickered. That was a misclick. And the dangerous one too, but luckily for him, they had no disable to stop that TP.
He will, if you interview him afterwards, he'll say it was a BM play because he knew that Ricky didn't have the item to stop him.
Of course. Of course it was.
Never
BM
show
play,
weakness. They aren't doing that as they continue to aggressively posture. It's just always at the center. I feel like we had a heat map right now. It's just like 8% of the time, bait is situated in the center, and then occasionally they'll smoke and gank to the outer lane, and then come back center.
That's
Like King of the Hill.
That's usually how you play. You play around Aegis and around the center, so you send out multiple hunting groups on the bottom lane and the top lane to kill these split pushers, right? But this is a problem now.
Dendi. No bounce in here. BKB to run away. Has the haste. Turns around and says, wait.
Really
It's an
though?
easily killable Lich.
Is it?
Or is it? Ice Blast is going to come in, but they'll TP out. Now look at the movement top. Straight away they realize, okay, you left, which means that Magical, he's in trouble here. He needs to move away. They'll chase in. They'll slow him down. Smoke screens out. BKB, TP away. No way to stop him, but Slayer will at least die for this. Slowly, but surely.
I think Slayer there was expecting to steal Stampede and run away with it, but maybe just running away would have helped him out more. In the end, what did they get? They got a BKB charge from SF and a kill Rubik. It's not really what you were aiming for.
Agreed. It was a nice idea though, right? Because you saw two exposed big targets in the SF and the Naga. But sadly, like, it feels like they're getting to a point where they're going to have to go, right? They can't keep allowing themselves to be pulled back and forth like this. You know the Naga will eventually get ahead of your cause. It's just inevitable.
Let's see Pasha here. He's very deep, but has no support whatsoever.
So he's fine. Ilias, however, the support has no support. No.
Pasha...
Balls of steel on this man.
Really?
He's thumping them against his shield. He refuses to leave.
I think he went AFK. I'm quite certain he's going to have an abandon in a couple of seconds if he remains
You know what
here.
would help you with this? A Shadow Amulet. You'd have to move out the tower, but they're very good for that.
There we go. The smoke, most likely on a side lane, going towards bottom or top to kill one of these split pushers. Naga already has a Skadi. Okay, now this is becoming dangerous. This Naga is getting a lot of farm on top of the network charge, and with that Skadi.
And Stampeding. I'm just going to shrug. What's to say? Slayer's dying. Have you had a look at bot recently? Because NaVi are doing things. The TPs are coming in now, but you're outnumbered. They're going to jump on them straight away. They see Dendi, they go in. They were waiting. They did not reveal Pasha the entire while. He just thought he was coming to stop a ratting Naga. Instead, they lose the Lina for 80 seconds.
Yeah, that BKB also doesn't help, and this should be a tier 3. Let's see. Yeah, with the illusions, they can definitely take it.
Yeah. Illusion heroes don't look at towers. They just let the illusion
Wait,
do it.
do they go for Raxes
Of course
here?
they do. Like, you don't have Stampede. You've just used Ice Blast. What? Are you really that scared?
I mean, there is Ricky still around.
Yeah, the line's been drawn. They know that someone's coming in behind them. It's the Centaur. They might want to get out now. The arena goes down. Pasha, that's the runaway. Get the hell out of Dodge.
They aren't really getting the hell out.
That's not how you get out. That's how you go in. They have the song, though.
Yeah.
So they will get out.
All right, that's the play. I was wondering why they're remaining down here, why they're still staying down here, and I was expecting that more teammates of theirs will connect, but it never happened, so they had to just TP away.
No, you had SF pushing mid, and clearly, you know, space for Lich to farm the jungle.
But you must feel very bad. You just used your Stampede to kill off a Rubik, and while that was happening, you lost the tier 3 and like half of that range Drax.
No. It was very smartly done by NaVi, identifying that the bait, we saw it before, they like to play one side, then immediately the other. So they're already a step ahead in that situation. And I love the way that they just kept Pasha hidden the entire while, so that Dendi felt confident about that TP.
And you can't really guess where Pasha is when he's AFK for the last 5 minutes. You know, it's very difficult to predict that sort of a play. It's the next level play pretty much right there.
He's just like, he's muttering to himself in Russian, I am a tree, I am a tree. Do not breathe. Here we go, bait. Now into the pit. The problem is that NaVi could do something about this. Song should be up soon, but more importantly, they have the arena. It's just whether they are quick enough across, but it doesn't look like they're positioned correctly to interrupt this.
Whenever you see Rosh being taken, you can guess if team is going to try to contest or not by their movements on the map and if they have any scouting capabilities. Right now, NaVi has one scouting way, and that are illusions of Naga. And if Naga isn't around this pit, around the mid lane at least, sending illusions constantly, scouting, then that means that they're not about to contest. They're not about to even go there and try to fight.
And as we can see, Crystallize is obsessed with the bot lane, so that's never going to happen.
These illusions want the range Drax.
They might get it. If not now, definitely next time.
LSA juke, Delta split, not there.
Just hit, just hit. Value gained.
I mean, yeah, that's strange Draxes. That means that this bottom lane for bait will constantly be pushed in, and you really, really want to defend that first set of Raxes versus Naga for as long as possible. Because once that falls, the game is much, much easier for Crystallize. The split push becomes easier because you know that one lane will be constantly pushed in without your effort.
And speaking of lane push, right, you look at the nature of things here. Yes, you've got this Aegis, but you have to get a lane pushed in hard. And the only one they're doing a good job of this right now is the mid. And when I say good, I mean it's a draw. It's meeting in the river.
Crystallize.
Moving in, Crystallize. Feeling pretty tanky. Has the BKB to work with, so isn't too scared right now. Terrorize going to come through, though. He didn't use the BKB. The arena's going to go down, just trying to cover their escape. Might do good enough. Pasha does get stunned up, though, and the song's going to come up, but Pio has that BKB. They might just try and right-click into him. He has got the smoke screen down to protect himself, and Pasha holds his ground. Shield forward, move away. Jump in. BKB, Ghost Stick goes in, connect on the Crystallize, not the target though. Pio's going to be brought down, dead for 70 seconds. Magical to scare them away, and Ghost Stick, nowhere to run. The Chain Frost bouncers are not favoring him. Too many balls slapping into his face there. Now the chase forward, and the King R, who will go for the TP away, will be successful.
This time,
tip, not on point that time.
This time around, Pasha doesn't prevent him. I was wondering why they gave Aegis to Dandy. He did die in that last engagement around the high ground, right? But still...
But there was some variables involved in that, like being alone.
I guess Ricky has too many mobility spells, and he's much easier to survive, right? And if you're Alina, all you have is BKB and Yules. So you can justify it that way. But Ricky is also the one that's going to be up front, that's going to be man fighting them. And... you could see it there. If he perhaps had that Aegis, they could maybe turn that fight again, but he dies, he has no buyback, and now they also lose a side. Even though they had that Aegis, it went not utilized at all.
They might lose more. The creep wave's pushed in the mid. It's at least a tier 2 in this situation, and I'd expect them to back off to spend their gold. But you saw the inherent issue here. Now that the BKB's on Naga, none of them wanted to hit her. Because it doesn't matter how much physical damage you have, as we're talking about the armor factor in this game, 38 armor, even your Ricky tickles.
Yeah, I just want to also mention that Crystallized popped his ulti when Ricky used BKB, and then they fought Ricky. They didn't run away. Yeah. They fought him throughout his BKB, while everyone else on his side was just taking a nap.
Waving at him.
They were taking a nap because of the Naga song, so NaVi really have a clear vision about these team fights and how they should be played out.
And it's the reason the Ghost Stick picked up the BKB as well, right? They need to try and actually en masse. Well, not Ghost Stick, sorry.
No, Ghost Stick.
Dendy. Ghost Stick is going to be burned down pretty roughly here. But still too tanky. They'll let him live. But the point is, like, Dendy's got one, right? And I wouldn't mind seeing more BKBs just so you can actually be involved against this Naga song. But as you said again, you don't feel like you need it because your Ricky has all this mobility. He should be able to escape, in theory, with his own BKB.
Yeah, even justifying his BKB is hard as they lack the damage right now.
LeBron. This chance of being a little bit annoying.
Don't worry, he has 9k MMR. He's fine.
This was all calculated.
Jinx.
He pulled out the calculator, he mashed his head into it, and this was the answer to winning. Magical. Ooh. Oh, hold on a second. That revealed a little bit of something. Pio does get hexed up. Stampede to get him away, though. Denny with light strike array. It will be a whiff. And Crystallize, he could just use a song here to set up. Has the BKB. Terrorize won't affect him. Magical sidesteps it perfectly. And now the jump in. Arena goes down. Dendy is the target. Pinned against these walls and lifted for so long. He should be going down here. In the meantime, King R's also going to die. Stun on the side. Pasha moved away so he doesn't connect with his teammates. And the Aegis has been taken away from them. Pio, he's melting due to this minus armor. The BKB still running for the moment, hunting on the Magical, and Denny's been left behind by his teammates. BKB to try and reconvene with them, and the turnaround, the Hex is going to come out, the controller's good on the Pio, going to get him low, but blink away in time by Shadow Fiend means they can't find him, and Dendy, oh no, he had this experience before he went down once. Crystallize here again. Everyone is trying to ignore Naga, but you can't ignore her when she obliterates you this fast. And King R, well, this was his buyback, and he's going to probably go down again. They haven't got the mana to protect him, the smoke screen to try and help. The roots, who cares? Crystallize will stand there. Nice spear back, pinned against the wall. Ghostic being melted down, even with no mana. He feels the might of the Naga. Will be felled. 75 seconds on the sideline. Arena just for the kill on the Willow. Pluck that Pixie's wings. As she'll go down dead for 90 seconds, and they can reconvene in the mid lane for a push if they want, because Crystallize is still alive and healthy.
Yeah, that's a big win for NaVi, obviously, and this team fight lasted for 2 minutes.
God. Okay, they haven't got vision.
They won't get him this time around.
And Song, I don't think the fighting's done yet, Liz. Or no, they're gonna go.
You can chill. You
that.
can take a breath, man. They're going back. They're taking back to their base.
Centaur probably has Stampede again, right? This went on for a while.
Yeah, that team fight, man, it was crazy, and I think the way that teamfight went was probably the best case scenario for Bait, and that's troublesome for them because they got initiated on Lina and on the Centaur. That's the two heroes that were up front. Remember, Centaur pretty much unkillable, and Lina had that Aegis. So while they were killing those two, Ricky was able to perhaps threaten Lich, perhaps threaten SF and Rubik, but it was always he comes close to killing them and then they either hex him, lift him, ghost themselves away. It was just so difficult for PO to make any impact in this game.
And it gets rougher as these BKB charges have been depleted, right? Like that window. If these fights drag on longer, we see Na'Vi have that advantage, and it's so hard to will away them because one side has a lot of negative armor effect, right? With the Naga, with the SF. What does the other have to like get through these bulky heroes in terms of physical might?
That's a very good point because you have your Lina and you have your Ricky. They're both assassin type of heroes, right? They go in, they blow a target up, they lose all their spells, and then they have to wait a second, right, to recharge. On the side of Na'Vi, these two cores complement each other really well, the SF and the Naga. Both bring a lot of utility to the team fight, as well as that minus armor that you talked about.
Yeah, that's what we always like to see, is that kind of synergy you can have. And in the mid lane, Ghostic, no mana to walk with again. The one tree. They'll find it, but nice terrorize to scare away the primary target. The arena's going to go down, though. They want this kill, and they'll be able to find it. As Ghostic, he gives up. He knows he's dead. No buyback. No way back in this 100 seconds. Yules, time to bomb out here. PO can't get away quick enough as he gets caught in the Requiem and killed off. You're without two for a long time. Ricky does have buyback, and you can bet your ass off Na'Vi are going to force it.
Yeah, he will have to use it here. I don't think you can defend with just the Lina, especially with the Yule setup. Let's see.
There it is. But she's still going to be stunned up. She might just die before the Curse Crown goes off. It's just too much damage. Dendi cannot do anything here. He's dead for 2 minutes. No way back into this.
It was just the illusions as well that took him down.
Yeah. It's just like, it's one of those moments where Crystal is probably just not even looking at his illusion anymore. It's like, I just attack click, buddy. You're done.
Yeah.